Hey guys, welcome back to another Dota Talk, and let's talk about what happened with Monkey King. So he was a staple safe laner for a long time. He was a good mid-game carry, almost unstoppable with a BKB and 2 items. And from patch like 7.21 to 7.26b, when his talents got gutted and the meta kind of like slowed down a bit, he was pretty good until that point. So let's take a look at what happened. Alright, so here's the patch notes for Monkey King on 7.26b, and as you can see, it's not just a nerf, they took every single talent he had, except for the second 25, and made them all just worse. Not even reworked, they just reduced the numbers on literally every one. So since that patch, it's been a bit harder for him to be a position 1 carry, and also mid game, he can go toe to toe with those carries, but late game, and since the meta has been shifting towards like 40-minute games more as the standard almost, late game he just doesn't compare to people like Spectre and Wraith King. He's just not the same hero he was because the games are going so much longer so consistently. And you used to see him pop off by just getting boots and a Desolator. And you really can't do that anymore unless you take some weird build that I'll show you guys later. But like, you used to get Echo Saber, you would hop out of a tree, ult, and then your Echo Saber would be so good because all your Wukong's command copies would use that Echo Saber and get that double attack with the Desolator as well. But now that that doesn't happen with Echo Saber, it's still a good first item, but you can't rely on it to carry your ult to 1v5 a team fight anymore, right? You can't get Echo Saber and then win the game with an ult. Like, it doesn't work like that anymore. You have to actually, like, you have to build items to enable your Desolator, like a Solar Crest or something, and we'll look at why that's so good later, but, like, I just think he's not as good in lane anymore either, because regen is so cheap, people are buying more regen. They're playing more passively in lanes anyways, so like hitting people a couple times in lane isn't really going to do what it did, right? Like popping Jingu off basically gave you like free last hits, but now that people like don't really care about that, they'll just kind of rush you down and poke you out with hero. Like if you pick Monkey King, they're just going to poke you out with heroes like Lion, suck your mana down, with heroes like Lich, Jakiro especially. And they're just absolute monsters. And so that's why I think he's not as good in lane. That's why I think he's not as good late game. So let's go over and talk about some analytics, talk about some hard data. Okay, so here's some of his worst matchups sorted from worst and goes down to best. So as you can see, people that poke him really well in lane or even like mid game, late game, are people like Venomancer, Zeus, Underlord is so huge right now. Spectre is another safe laner. Okay, so the poke heroes I'm talking about is Ogre, you see him right here, Venomancer, Clockwork can poke him pretty hard, AA can poke him pretty hard, Enigma, and Underlord's Q just absolutely shreds him early game. So heroes like these are more meta, and heroes like these have time to actually pressure you and just buy regen because they don't care about getting money. Because with the current patch, they can just farm XP, deny you XP all game, and then whenever you go to farm, they just push the lane, take your tower, if they haven't taken the tower already, and then you're just kind of like a position 3 almost. Like your offlaner gets more farm than Monkey King most of the time. So let's look at specifically some win rates versus some other meta safe laners. All right, here's some specific matchups I wanted to point out. So as you can see here, his matchups against all of these other like meta safe laners, meta position 1s, are pretty bad. I think they're all like under 46% right now. So that means like every time a Spectre, Juggernaut, Troll, Sven, Wraith King, Arc Warden's on the enemy team, like you're gonna have a bad game if you go position 1. And like how often does that happen, right? Like Spectre's like the most picked best hero of the patch. Like Juggernaut's super easy, he's picked all the time. Wraith King's picked all the time. Sven's picked all the time. Arc Warden's picked in my pubs by people who think they're really good. Like these heroes are picked all the time. And the fact that Monkey King just can't go toe to toe with these guys anymore with the same build or with the same playstyle, just it hurts him so much. And here's Here's my advice for all Monkey Kings after looking at this and looking at what I've showed you. I think you should try running Monkey as a tanky offlaner with like a Satanic Buyer, or as a abusive mid laner that rotates a lot. And I know we've seen him mid for a long time, but let's look at some of his items and then I'll show you some gameplay from Topson as to why I think you should run a mid lane. Alright, here's some of the items that I specifically wanted to talk about. So, while Desolator still does have a nice win rate for the completed build, I really don't think you should go Desolator first item anymore. Like what I was saying, you need items to support it. So as you can also see, Echo Saber isn't the finished build anymore, but you still do build Echo Saber because in this new patch, it does build into Silver Edge. So that's really a good item to have on Monkey King, so you can get the jump on people and 2-shot people or 3-shot people with your auto attack Q combo. That you can just get off on people if you're so close you can't miss, especially if you're invisible. And you'll see these items that make him harder to kill or has such a high win rate right now, like Satanic is huge, and look at its win rate right now. You activate Satanic, you get back to full HP, and then when Satanic is over, you have your Jingu stacks up from hitting someone 4 times, and then you get more lifesteal from your Jingu stacks. But then if you build Saint Jinyasha, I have Scotty, these 2 survivable items, 2 good teamfight items have really, really high win rates as well. Abyssal Blade, that's just a busted item right now. Please build Abyssal Blade on all your carries that have attack speed. Monkey King, okay, then let's look at some of his offensive items, where he has Echo Saber, Desolator, Silver Edge, and Monkey King Bar. So you see Silver Edge is one of the lower of the absurd win rates that I'm showing here, but it is still pretty high, like a 58% win rate. Like I'm going to try to build that as often as I possibly can. And then BKB is just like a pretty essential item on most carries this game. Like please build BKB if you're in any kind of high MMR, because they're going to be running disables, they're going to be buying Rod of Atos, they're going to be buying Yules, they're going to be buying all sorts of stuff to keep you out of the battlefield. And if you can make people waste spells on you as a mid laner, just as if you just build like big and tanky with your Scotty, Satanic, Butterfly, Silver Edge, Abyssal, like you're going to be massive and people are going to be trying to kill you. And if you can just like act like another offlaner late game and soak up the spells so that your safe laner can go in and 1v5, like that's a good job you're doing. But you can also carry from this mid 1 position. You can play mid 1 Monkey King, but I don't think you can play safe lane position 1 anymore effectively. But I think mid 1's really good, and I'm going to show you some clips and the build that Topson's using recently for Monkey King. So let's go check that out. Alright, this right here is what I want to talk about. So Topson's dominating the mid lane against this Void Spirit, right? In the top left, you can see his kills, deaths, assists, and his last hits. So at 11 minutes, he's at 65, which is pretty solid. He's a level above this Void, and look at what he buys first, right? He buys the Blightstone for 300, and then he buys the building to a Solar Crest. He buys that metal, right? So what I think a lot of people aren't doing this patch is that like just recently 7.27D there were some armor changes where lots of summons and many heroes are getting more and more armor and less HP. So they're trying to make spellcasters a bit better. They're trying to make safe laners a bit weaker actually by adding armor. But what you can do is with all these armor changes, you can build stuff like Desolator and you can build stuff like Solar Crest, right? So let's look at what Monkey King can do with just this metal, right? Can he force the Santimage out of lane? Can he get a kill on the Santimage? Look at how much damage he just did, right there. Watch this. Watch how much damage this guy does with this metal. He puts the metal on him, Qs him, auto attacks him twice. That anti-mage is at half HP, and then he chases him once more, and he's dead, right? So that's a really good example of that mid-early game, like 10 to 15 minute build I want you to be looking for. You need to build metal, you need to build Orb of Venom, you need to build a bunch of stats, and you need to get this Blightstone. because there's lots of armor in the game right now, and your job as a Monkey King mid lane is to absolutely shred that armor and 3-shot people. So let's go look at another point where he's a bit more late game. Alright, so here's another point I wanted to show when he has his Desolator, right? But he didn't just build Desolator first, right? He built an item to enable his Desolator. He built stats, and he built Solar Crest, and he built Phase Boots. And these are all good to help enable your Solar Crest and enable your Desolator, and you're going to see why. Look how much damage he does with 1 Q and 2 auto attacks. Check this out. Wait, fast forwarded. Okay, everyone watch how much damage he does by putting the Solar Crest, pressing Q, and auto attacking twice. That was over half of his HP from 1 Q and 2 auto attacks. And this is why I'm telling you guys to build Solar Crest on Monkey King right now. It hasn't been played in a lot of games, but against a squishy team like he's against right now, like this Pango, Void, Treant, Lion AM, these heroes don't have a lot of HP. Like, these heroes don't build a ton of HP either, so just taking their armor out can basically give you some pure damage with Deso Solar Crest. And it's insane. So I want to show you guys one more clip here. Alright, this is a clip I wanted to show you guys, and it's another use of that Solar Crest Desolator. See how fast he just absolutely takes this anti-mage down? And then he also goes to this mid fight, and he absolutely dominates it. Because he does basically pure damage against the Lion, Treant, and Pango. He kills the Lion in 3 hits. He walks over. He kills Pango in 4. Well, almost 4. And then his team finishes off the last target. So, this is the end of the clips. This is what I want to tell you guys. I think Monkey King is still really, really good. But I don't want to see Monkey King run as a position 1. Unless they have a bad early game off lane. No one like Underlord, no one like Pango, no one like Darkseer, no one like Bristleback. But if they have like a weak early game off lane, sure, you can run Monkey King. But like, he's just not the lane early game dominator like he was from position 1. But if you have a position 1, like this Monkey King has his Void, right? So Monkey King and Void are both playing this like position 1-2 role. So if Monkey King is taking damage, he's enabling this Void, he's reducing armor, he's 3-shotting supports, that leaves Void to just do cleanup. Just chrono 1 person, chrono 2 people, clean them up, game's over. So I think Monkey King's really, really good when you have a high mobility safe laner like this. Because you can both go in, you can both get a bunch of kills, and then the game's kind of over. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new stuff I added with the clips and the data and all the discussion. And if you have anything to add or ask, if you have any specific questions, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.